currently in Sheffield, in Tinsley, where we're meeting with Robert, who's driven his houseboat down from the Lake District for his first year of university. He's going to get to know the character and we'll see how he is. Robert's been living in his canal boat called Simba for almost 6 months now during the COVID pandemic. We're keen to talk to him and find out what stories he has to share. So how did you find bringing the boat down from the Lake District?
Oh, it was awesome. It took me and my dad about 6 weeks to take the boat down. Probably the best bit was when we crossed the Ribble Crossing, which is like it's like a river that goes connects Lancaster to the sea. But in order to get out of the Lancaster Canal and then get down here, you have to cross it, and it was massive. It was awesome. Yeah.
So how do you find being out of the way a bit of people?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an antisocial person or anything, but I do appreciate my own space, and like I've spent a bit of time, you know, in halls around other people. I found it very stressful being in the city. I think it's probably coming from the countryside that's got a big part to do with that. So yeah, I don't know. I consider the boat here a sort of a little refuge away from the hustle and bustle of the city, you know.
So what's your most memorable moment of being on the boat?
Well, I mean, probably was part of taking it up here. I like whenever you go on a boat. Like before I got on the boat, I'd been on a few canal boating holidays, so I sort of already knew what to expect basically before I started living on here. But like when we're taking the boat up, people develop a weirdly close emotional connection with the boat. Like I guess it's like some people are with cars.
So I've noticed you're wearing a nice little wristband. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the boat.
Yeah, so this doesn't really have anything to do with the boat. This is just like your everyday kind of Brillo pad. But I wear this because you know, one day I realised my wrist was getting a bit itchy, and so you know, this is basically just to stop the chip inside of my wrist emitting its signals. Yeah, and tracking my location and sending my information.
So you said about being chipped. Does that have to do anything with like living in the boat as well?
Well, I mean, you know, we're all being monitored in this modern age, and I mean, it does actually have something to do with living on the boat. You see, with it being a steel hull, you know, essentially what I'm living in is a Faraday cage. And if you don't know what a Faraday cage, it's a mesh of metal that stops electronic radiation coming through. So I mean, most relevantly, that'll be 5G. It will stop 5G waves coming in and, you know, having an effect on your body. Yeah, so the thing with the bracelet is, you know, in this modern surveillance state, we've got facial recognition being rolled out everywhere. We've got all of our data being mined and harvested all over the internet, and you know, basically the central banks are going to be trying to use RFID chips in order to track pretty much everyone. And I think that through the data mining, they might understand that, you know, I'm against that. And so basically, this may be overboard, but I'm being extra vigilant. I felt something funny in my wrist, and it could be a chip.
So I've noticed you've got this book on cover-ups, and I'm just wondering what your favourite conspiracy theory is.
Well, I think there's a lot of very interesting stuff in that book. I'd highly recommend it, to be fair. But my favourite is probably the Nazi moon base theory, which is where the Nazis back in the mid-40s actually went to the moon, made a moon base, and then hid all of the Jewish gold under the surface of the moon. You know, you see a lot of crazy people think that there's a base that the Nazis built in the Antarctic, you know, in the mid-40s, but that's utterly ridiculous. There's no evidence for that.
Definitely.
But you see, if you look at the facts, you know, if you really apply critical thinking, you'll realise the Nazis did actually go to the moon and set up a base where they, you know, where they hid their gold.
So thank you for having me.
No problem.
It's been great meeting you, and I hope all goes well on the boat.
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
So we've met the interesting bloke, and we've had a good time doing it.